hold this mic up with my hand.
Let me see.
Oh, well.
Wait, where's my live stream? Oh, there it is. Oh, look at my hair. How's your love life? Is it good?
It's good. I'm with the same woman, Natalie. She is just waiting for us to go live on
Okay.
Instagram here. I hope Instagram's working. Let me just take a quick peek. Why did Instagram not tag along?
Now, is this really live on Instagram?
It's not. For some reason, Instagram didn't work. So no. So we're not live on Instagram, but we're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I don't know why it somehow glitched.
So when I say when you say you're live, hang on one second. Let me just ask you a question. Like up here where it says live, is that where it's showing live?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously?
Yeah, it would be there, but for some reason it just didn't work this time. But yeah, which is just good because it gives people a little notification who subscribe that, that they can check it out. But we'll upload it right after, so it'll be okay. All right, let's do it. My hand is getting tired. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
You got to prop it up.
I know. No, but my love life's good. And we're going to the US Open in a couple of weeks. And
amazing.
I did that last year and for the first time, and that was so much fun. So we're doing that again and probably trying to plan a trip to Spain as well. So in the fall, but we'll see if that happens. So yeah.
I love all that.
Oh, I know. I need to get out more and more vacations. Okay.
Me too.
Well, you can't. You're too busy. All right, here we go. All right. Welcome to Keeping It Real, the largest podcast for real estate agents and by real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I'm your guide and host through the show. Today, once again, is our monthly series called the Monday Market Minute with Carrie McCormick from the Carrie McCormick Real Estate Group with At Properties here in Chicago. By the way, At Properties Christie's International. At Carrie is a top 1% producer in Chicago with over 20 years of experience helping buyers, sellers, and investors. In the past 12 months, out of 46,000 real estate agents in the Chicagoland area, Carrie is always in the top 10 or 15 agents, again, out of 46,000. She does it all by herself. That's the truth. It's incredible. True superstar and an expert in everything from first-time home buyers, veteran investors, and luxury properties. She also works with a lot of developers who choose Carrie often to represent their high-end developments. Please check her out on Instagram. And she also does all of her own Instagram, which is even more impressive once you start seeing her posts, which is at Carrie McCormick Real Estate. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. Also, if you want to connect with Carrie, CarrieMcCormickRE.com is a place where you can connect with her. Maybe you have somebody who's moving to Chicago and you don't work in Chicago, or maybe you're a place where people from Chicago move to and you want to see if Carrie might become a good referral source. So great way to connect with her there. Carrie, welcome once again to the show.
Thank you so much. Always appreciate that intro.
Well, it's super appreciated by our fans because you are I would ask how many listings you have, but it might just overwhelm you because there's that many that you are always in the middle of dozens and dozens of deals at any given moment. I don't know how you do it. And we have the NAR settlement that today is actually, we're recording on the 19th. This will probably come out a week from now. So it's brand new. This is like day 2. It went live on Saturday. And, probably everyone's a little sick of hearing about NAR, but what I would love to know is, has anything changed yet for you, or is it still, were there changes you made in the past that made this transition more smooth?
Yes. So again, it's day 2 and, to me, it's business as usual on day 2 so far, but, doing a lot of prepping and reading and what do I need to do to obviously adapt and pivot to this. And I love that I've been in the industry for over 20 years. So I've been through a lot of different shifts in our industry, but this is the biggest one. And obviously it affects buyers primarily. So I think just thinking through, a few steps ahead and having again, I know this is maybe redundant, but I do think it's important that all of us shift to buyer presentations. Just as we've gone listing presentations, we are now going to be buyer presentations. So I also think it's important that you strengthen your personal brand because buyers are going to want to work with someone that they trust, that they feel comfortable with, expertise. So now you have to think of yourself as branding as a buyer's broker, right? Because again, we did a lot of branding and a lot of marketing as a listing broker, but be ready to strengthen your personal brand. And you can do that through content marketing, social media, doing local events to position yourself as a leader in your market. And again, I think that's going to draw people towards you as an expertise. Also, using client testimonials. That is something that we've always done, and always encourage you to do that. And again, a lot of the testimonials have been, kind of vague in our services, but really ask your clients to take a deeper response in the client testimonial, because that will boost your reputation. And when they see, just like anyone goes to Yelp or they go to a restaurant review, they want to read and hear what people are saying. So pay attention to your testimonials. The other thing that I've been doing over the last couple of days is collaborating with my peers, right? And we did some role playing. I talked to agents from all different markets through Christie's and just going through different scenarios, because we know in our industry it's really not black and white. And there's so many different personalities and different just different people, that we have to deal with. So going through different scenarios has been extremely helpful. No one likes to role play in our business, or in any business, I should say. But I do think it's important to go through them and, talk with your peers as well. The other thing I've been working on too is adding value add services, right? So since our commissions are coming under scrutiny, and we have to tell buyers, why do you need us? Why do we deserve our X percent, right? So going through and making up your new buyer package, doing your added value, just so that you can justify and put a detailed analysis of why you deserve that commission rate, and educating them on the process. One person had told me, I thought this was a brilliant example, is as we know as brokers, in the background, there's so much that happens, from paperwork to, the inspection reports, going through those. Put a packet together of what a buy side transaction looks like and all the paperwork that goes on our background, right? Because they typically don't see, or they don't see it as a whole package. A buyer goes through it one by one, but in your buyer presentation or listing presentation, show them, here's a sample report that we're going to get from the inspector. My job is to go through this report with you and identify the items. And, the buyers across from you is going to be like, oh my God, I didn't realize that inspection report, is going through all this. And reassure them that, yes, this home, in this particular inspection report, there was a foundation issue, there was a window issue, there was a roof issue. But, because of my experience, I have trusted partners that I'm going to get you a trusted roofer. I'm going to get you a trusted foundation person. Let's have them come out. With one phone call, I can have someone out to the house for you. Having, and again, explaining to buyers that you have the toolkit. You've got everybody there to help them through the process. Attorneys, closing companies, all of that stuff. So I do think, I've been putting mine together. I know today's August 19th, but I'm trying to refine it. But I think that's going to be important to set yourself apart from others. So from a marketing standpoint, I think it's going to be a game changer for a lot of us.
Yeah, practice your pitch is what I'm hearing a lot of. And also realizing too that there are going to be new commission models that agents will adopt. And
Yes.
so you might be in a listing presentation and not realize that somebody came before you and offered a flat fee as opposed to a percentage. And that seller might say, well, I met with someone else and they were only going to charge me X.
Mhm.
As a flat fee, why do you do percentage? And I think it's will behoove the agent to practice answering those questions, or vice versa. If you're a flat fee person, here's why I do that versus charging a percentage, whatever your preferred model is. And there's other models you could do too, but really understanding that people are going to be offering different packages to clients, and being able to explain, here's why I do the one I. And I love your idea about role playing with other agents. And you're right, none of us like role playing, but it's probably one of the most helpful ways to build skill, I think.
I
And
do.
Yeah, so I love that, and I love that 20 years in, you're still chatting with people in the industry, going, "Hey, what are you doing for this?" And so, yeah, it's just. Oh, here's another suggestion: if you're doing open houses, bring some no agency forms with you because you're going to need them when people walk in unrepresented, and
Absolutely.
that's a brand new thing. Well, it's probably something agents should have done for a long time, but it's now obviously a must. So if you're not familiar with no agency, and again, this maybe I don't know if it changes from Illinois to other states, but I don't think it does. But if it does, ask your managing broker, learn about no agency as an option for open houses.
It's
Uh,
super important.
yeah. Yeah. Has do you, so, obviously, nobody can predict what this will do to commissions, but I think at the very least it'll help the agents who take this very seriously to be able to really hone in their pitch to say, here's why I'm charging X. Here's what I get paid for. Here are the list of services I provide. And buyers, are going to have to get familiar with and sort of I think agents really have to have that conversation about here's how it used to be done. Here's where fees were kind of not as visible, and now we're just bringing them into the light a little bit more. And
Right.
I think having that pitch is awesome. Um, so what, I wanted to ask you about this. So last week we saw rates come down a little bit and it seemed to spark. I talked to some friends of mine who are lenders and they were like, "Oh my God, we are now getting tons of
Yep.
applications." So I'm curious what you think about that, only because I don't think inventory has changed that much, at least here in Chicago and probably a lot of places. So it doesn't look like the inventory is there to meet a lot of demand. So I'm curious on if you've noticed anything like that, or am I wrong and we're starting to see more inventory?
No, you're right. So we are still seeing low inventory, at least here in Chicago. Not a lot has come on the market. We are thinking though after Labor Day, we still are seeing people vacationing, getting their kids back to school, et cetera. So after Labor Day, I am predicting that we're going to have some more inventory in our market, and this is perfect timing for these interest rates to come down. Any little movement in them is sparking some more um, client movement. So happy to see it. All of this is coming together at one point with this NAR, with interest rates down, hopefully more inventory coming in the market.
The election.
The
Yeah.
election, again, this is our world we live in, and we are professionals in our industry. It's our job to navigate it and navigate it for the best of our clients. So we'll be
Yeah.
fine. We just need to work through change, and everyone knows if you adapt to the change, you're going to win. If you want to refuse it and not study it, you're not going to you're not going
Well,
to make it.
one of my favorite expressions. It's a tough one. It's kind of basically the Serenity Prayer, but a little bit shorter way to say it is resistance to reality doesn't change reality. And so I always like we can fight against what is, but it is what is. So I think that's important. Is that there are always opportunities and solutions forward, and there's 1.5 million jobs that are affected by this. So people
Mhm.
there's a big enough industry. It's one of the biggest in the country. So it will be figured out. So have faith and realize too. I think that a lot of lesser involved agents will probably fall away because they won't be able to do all of these services. They won't be able to explain their value as well, and as a result they'll probably just find it's not as easy to do a couple of deals a year as it used to be.
Right.
And I think brokerages are going to start being less agreeable to those smaller agents as well, because I and this is just a thought. I know, at our brokerage we're talking about it because what we're realizing now is these smaller part-time agents or dual career agents. There's nothing wrong with being a dual career agent, of course, but it's certainly harder to keep abreast of all of the compliance, and they become, a higher liability. So I think there's going to be brokerages that will start really wanting single career agents exclusively, or certainly favor that. So if you're a single career agent, this is great news because there's going to be less players in the space, and people who have maybe their brother-in-law who's really has another full-time job but does this on the side. Those kind of people maybe will fall away, and you can help pick up some of that market share.
Yeah. I think you're right on. So I do think my last comment is going to be just strengthen your current client relationships too.
Yeah.
You are the expert. So whether you communicate them through email, through a phone call, through a written letter, just kind of explaining what's going on, I do think, your current clients and past clients want to hear from you.
Absolutely. And if nothing else, just to sort of let them know that that you're business as usual and that you're there for them and there to explain things to them and deepen those. I think it's really a great opportunity to deepen relationships.
Yeah,
And we know that relationships are everything. So I think
absolutely.
that's a perfect place. We'll keep this one short and sweet. Let's let Carrie get back to her dozens and dozens of listings and all of the buyers she's also working with. Speaking of, if there are, I said this at the beginning, but just as a reminder, if there are agents out there in other markets who go, I have people that move to Chicago and I don't work in Chicago, Carrie would love the opportunity to see if she'd be a good fit as a referral partner. Say, and vice versa. If you're somebody who people from Chicago move to or maybe retire to, consider Carrie as someone to reach out and see if you can develop a partnership. And Carrie even can go so far sometimes as to go and meet some of her referral partners out in the United States. So she takes it very seriously. So if you think you'd be a good partner to her and with her, please reach out to her. And also please follow her on Instagram. Again, she does this all herself, and I'm still shocked 5 or 6 years into doing this podcast with Carrie that she still does this all herself. It is beyond impressive. And if you're looking for a good template for what to do in social media, specifically on Instagram, Carrie is a really great. She's kind of one of the top people, at least here in Chicago, and I haven't seen too many others outside of Chicago that have more impressive feeds than her. So check it out. At Carrie McCormick Real Estate is where you can check out what she's doing on social. And yeah, Carrie, if anyone ever wants to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Of course, always call me 312-961-4612.
Okay, everyone. Well, I hope everyone post settlement is doing okay. We're breathing. It's all going to work out um, because it has to, because there's too much at stake, and it will. And just have faith that people will come up with solutions, maybe that don't even exist yet today, to help. For example, people are very worried about buyers being able to afford commissions if they need to pay out of pocket. Breathe, realize that there may be solutions coming, but for right now, learn how to have that conversation, and you'll be fine. And all right, well, we will see everybody on the next episode. On behalf of the audience, thank you, Carrie, once again, being such a great supporter of our show. We adore Carrie, and on behalf of Carrie, on ourselves, we of course also adore our audience. Thank you for continuing to make this show bigger and bigger. We had our best month ever, which was in July, and August. We're on pace right now to exceed that as well. So we are so grateful. Thank you. Please tell a friend about the show. Leave us a review. Support our sponsors. Let Carrie know that you appreciate her coming on the show, because she doesn't have to do this, but she does it, and we love her for it. All right, guys, have a great rest of the week. Everything will be fine. And Carrie, we will see you next month.